Wraith has received some pretty significant changes to her kit in the most recent update to Apex Legends, but is she still any good? Is she still viable? In short, yes, of course, she always will be. But how has she changed? Let's take a look. This video is sponsored by EA. Make sure you check out their Summer of Plunder sale in the in-game shop, where you can purchase Apex packs at deeply discounted prices, which are also bundled along with exclusive items, 2 of which are weapon charms, and 1 of them is an exclusive R301 skin. For example, the most expensive one, which is 70 Apex packs, will cost you only 5,000 Apex coins, plus you get an extra R301 skin on top. The other ones are a bit cheaper than that, so make sure you check them out and see if any of them are for you. In addition, the Voidwalker bundle for Wraith has finally returned, so if you've not been able to catch it earlier on in the game's lifetime, now is your next chance to do it. It may or may not ever come back again, so have a look. Now, getting back to the topic at hand, the Wraith Rebalance and how much it actually affects gameplay and whether or not you should continue playing her. The short version is, which I've kind of alluded to already, is that Wraith is still a top tier pick. She is still one of the best legends in the game, and well, if you just take a look at any ALGS of any region, you're going to see pretty much every team, if not 100% of teams, all running Wraith, even after her changes. The biggest change, and probably the most controversial one amongst the community, is going to be the change to her tactical ability into the Void. So your activation time for this ability has increased by 1 entire second, so it takes you a very, very long time to get this ability up and running. Once you are in the Void, though, you are given an extra second of duration from what it used to be. Now, while you're activating this ability, there is a brand new animation that goes along with it, and it creates a noise that is pretty unique, kind of like this weird charging up sound, which you'll very clearly hear when you actually play the game, and in my personal opinion, I think is a great addition to the game, because if Wraith is going to get that long-term invincibility and be able to see other players while she's in the Void, which was also a buff given to her, then now giving some kind of debuff to it, some kind of negative side, so you can hear that it's coming, you can react to it and have your team start targeting the Wraith down before she goes invincible, is something that is really, really cool. It's not something that you're ever going to call out to your team, but if each individual player can hear it and react to it quickly enough and get some team shot going on that player before they go invincible, that is a really, really cool thing. However, once Wraith actually gets the ability off, she gets her old speed bonus back. She goes over 400 UPS in speed, which is more than a 30% increase in sprinting speed from normal, which is really, really cool. And you get to see your opponents now. So there's some push and pull with this brand new ability. Well, it's not really a brand new ability, but this brand new balance pass. It's just a complete reimagining of how the ability works. So now, when you come out of your phase shift, you no longer are kind of a sitting duck for a second as you reevaluate the positioning and see where the enemies are. And if someone was chasing you really, really hard, then you don't have to try to wait and react to them. You can see where they are, and when you come out of phase, you can come right out and fight pretty much instantaneously. So Wraith has a better chance in those situations as well. So it lets her really fulfill that interdimensional skirmisher title that she's had ever since the game has launched, without feeling so much like a press Q to win the fight or press Q to just have a panic button and never die button. Now you have to use it a little bit more tactically, but overall, Legend is still very, very strong. Next up, Wraith's Portal, or her ultimate, has also been nerfed in such a way that you have less distance that you can cover while placing it, so you cannot, well, go as far. This is, I think, not that big of a change for the character. I don't think it is too much of a nerf. I think this is maybe more a change that is a little bit more geared towards competitive play and tournament level play, where every team is already running Wraith, and Wraith is so important to pretty much every composition, pretty much because of the portal and how much team mobility it gives and how much safe mobility that it gives, especially when paired with her phase shift, so she can actually get the portal down safely. It's a great pairing, and she does a lot for the team. She has a great team player. Giving her a little bit less distance, I don't think is that huge of a deal. I don't think that it's going to impact a lot of pro players in a lot of situations. I'm sure there are some exceptions where there's certain rotations or certain movements in certain zones where you're trying to go from cover to cover or from behind a wall to inside of a building, or, you know, whatever the case may be with her portal, where the small reduction in your maximum distance can prevent certain movements with your team from happening, at least not quite as easily, and it makes them much more open to being punished. But overall, I don't know if that's necessarily bad for the game. The fact that Wraith can still do what she does, just only a little bit worse, doesn't necessarily make the character really, really bad. I've seen a lot of hate towards the character online, nowhere near as much as Pathfinder, of course, but it's just, well, I think not really well-founded. At least maybe not anymore, now that the game has really grown and developed in Season 5, and we've really had time to figure things out, figure out the map changes, figure out the map changes and rotations and whatever the other stuff may be. Like, it's all ultimately fine. And with all that said, Wraith still has pretty much one of the best hitboxes in the game. Her AD strafing is fantastic, her hitbox is small, her height is very, very short. All of these things are really beneficial to just winning these straight up 1v1 close range gunfights with opponents. It's so much harder for you to be hit than an enemy Gibraltar to be hit or an enemy Caustic to be hit, and even though you have low profile, Wraith still dominates 1v1 battles to the point where I've actually seen some murmurs of some devs saying that they've actually considered giving her like a double low profile to make her even weaker to bullets, to see if that helps to make her even more balanced in the future. So Wraith is still really, really strong, especially on PC-centric metagames. So really, just no matter how you slice it, unless this character were to be completely revamped and completely reworked and had the abilities that they had completely changed out, they are never ever going to be anything less than top tier for pretty much all levels of play. Wraith is still a fantastic top tier legend in my opinion, and if you are not already playing her, I don't understand why you're not. This is definitely a character you should have in your back pocket for casual, for ranked, for whatever level of play that you find yourself at, because she is phenomenal. Anyways, everyone, thank you all so much for watching, and I hope this was entertaining for you. I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Take care.